I know I'm gonna get heat for this, especially from people who are big proponents of Colombia, but I feel like the women in Brazil are authentic, right? So if they're saying they are calling you a more, they're feeding you off of their plate, showing you affection, kissing you, rubbing your head in public, whatever, whatever. They mean that shit because they really dig you. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a part of the culture in Colombia, so they do that to everybody. You know, like a woman doing that to you doesn't necessarily make it special. And a lot of the times it's an act. And if you're not aware of the culture, if especially you brothers who've never had attention from women to be able to tell whether a chick is truly into you or not, you'll get fooled because you're like, oh my God, she called me Mia Moore. She took her fork and spoon fed me in front of everybody. It's like, nah, bro, they literally do that to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's still a better deal than what you would get on a date in the States. You know what I mean? I would rather you pretend that you like me than just act like you don't while I'm paying. But at the same time, it's like I I like that about Brazil a lot more, that the women are a lot more real. I feel like in Colombia, a chick will kind of play the long game and see what she can get out the deal. She might not like you that much, but she'll stick around if you got some money.
Oh yeah. Well, some people would argue, well, like, all women want something, they're gonna do that anywhere you go. What would you say about that?
That's partially true, but I think that the barrier to entry is just a lot less, and women are a lot more realistic, right? Like, if I were to take, and I've done this before, I take a chick on a trip and I fly her out, like, yo, we in Santa Marta or whatever, like, yo, let's go fly out to Medellin for the weekend and go party. And if I tell her, hey, this is the air, we staying in a hostel, fucking Airbnb, bump a 5 star, we staying in a hostel. She's happy with just getting a free trip. She don't care. I didn't do that. I mean, we stayed in a nice Airbnb, but I know the mentality of the women. They're not having like these unrealistic expectations of you in scenarios like that.
Okay, I would agree. So, have you encountered any cultural misunderstandings dating in Brazil, in Colombia?
Hmm.
Like something that would be normal and okay in the States that wasn't, that didn't really fly, or they had an issue with it in those other countries?
I would say sometimes the way that you speak can be, especially as Americans, we could be a lot more direct. And sometimes that may come across as a little bit rude. So the way that you phrase things and the way that you say it matters a little bit. But I don't think I've had a lot of misunderstandings culturally outside of outside of language barriers. I don't think I've had too many issues with that.
Hmm. Okay, and you're saying that for Brazil and Colombia?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I've had, I guess, the cultural misunderstandings off the top of the head. I can't really think of too many besides a chick that thinks that I'm trying to control her by paying for a damn plane ticket. So, how do Brazilians? What is a Brazilians' attitude towards commitment and casual dating differ from the states? Like, how do they view commitment compared to the states, and how do they view just casual hookups? I guess, or just dating slowly compared to the states.
I think it depends on the girl. If you have like the party girl who's out every weekend, she's probably going to be the type that's a lot more open to the casual situation. You know what I mean? But if you have a girl who's not like that, she's not the party girl, they probably want something a lot more serious. And those are typically the ones that you want to build a life with, that you want to settle down with, be serious with. And I feel like those are the ones they make you work a little bit more. It's still not a lot of work compared to the bullshit we deal with in America, right? But
It's re-
it's yeah, it's not exactly like easy mode either. You got to talk to them, prove that you're a man of value, prove that will treat them well, and then you can kind of take it from there.
yeah, yeah. So all the chicks aren't just quick hookups in Brazil and stuff like that. It's just more common, uh, and it's completely different from the states. But yeah, I could agree with this. So, how important is the family approval? Like you've met your girl's family, right?
Yeah.
You know, how was that process? Was it just smooth, or did they have an issue being a foreigner? Or I'm assuming not, because I've seen your stories.
Yeah, yeah, not at all, man. I think that most of them are open with it. They probably kind of like they big it up. They like, oh shit, my daughter's got a gringo. You know what I mean, girl? You better not fuck this up. Like, yo, I've dealt with women who their mother is like, will check them. Like, you better not mess this up. You know what I'm saying? So,
And they still fucked it up.
yeah, they did.
What country would you say you heard that the most at? Brazil or Colombia, where their parents would be like, "Oh, you better not fuck this up."
Just because I haven't had as many dating experiences in Brazil, I'm gonna say Colombia based on my
Oh,
experience.
okay, so I would assume both then.
Yeah.
Uh, does are the women like eager for you to meet their family? Like I know in the states, most of the chicks really weren't eager for me to meet the family.
Man, it is not uncommon for you to meet the family after like the second or third date.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Matter of
Mm-hmm.
fact, some of the dates might be them inviting you to a family function.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I've had that
And
happen in Salvador.
bro, and the way that I've noticed and kind of like peeped the situation in terms of how the families interact, you know what I mean? You could tell that the women get training. It's not kind of like how women go to charm school, or at least they used to back in the day. Um, in the States, it's like they get charm school at home. If you get up and try to go grab a beer from the cooler, or you get up and try to go make your plate, that mom is going to check shorty like, yo, what are you doing? Why is he making his plate right now? Why is he grabbing a beer? You know what I mean? So in a lot of instances, I kind of like being around the family because you can tell what you're getting yourself into by how the mother treats you as well.
Yeah, when I had a chick from Rio that I was dating, and she moved to Jersey, and she invited me to her mom. Actually, not her mom, her aunt. I believe it was her aunt she was living with. Let me have the car because her niece was with me. She let me have the car for the whole weekend.
Word.
She, yeah, she let me have a car for the whole weekend while we were in Jersey, and then she when I went to their family function, it was like a bunch of Brazilians in that city in Jersey, and she made her fix the plate and make my drinks for me. Her aunt made her niece do that, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that was in the states. Even though they've came to the states, she was new there. I'm pretty sure she still do that because she doesn't even seem like she's been assimilating to the American culture that much at all. So, how do Brazilians feel about public displays of affection? Which we know how they feel about that.
Oh yeah, man. That is on 10. They love it. You know what I'm saying? They don't mind kissing you in public. It is very rare to be able to walk around and your woman not hold your hand. Yo, I remember first time I met my girl, we were literally on the way to the Samba Drome to go and watch the parade for Carnival. And I'm fitted up. I got my carnival fit on, looking fly. And this is before I knew a lick of Portuguese. That's when I met her. I didn't know no Portuguese. And she wrote something in the translator and showed it to me. And she was like, give me your hand. All of these women are staring at you. I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even just about the public display of affection in that manner. It was about the fact she was willing to compete. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, we've definitely lost that competition in the states. They're not going to compete for you at all. Pretty much, there you have to make a fool out of yourself to compete in the states. There it seems like. So, do you think that that public display of affection and how open they are to just showing everybody that they want you to be theirs makes you closer in dating? Do you think it affects how that entire relationship goes as opposed to somewhere else?
yeah, big time, man. Because instead of you know what? When I left the States, to be honest, it wasn't even about dating. It was about money. When I found out that if you live outside of the States for 330 days in the calendar year, then the first 120 grand you make is tax free. I had made a lot of money that year because I was working two full-time jobs. And I was like, yo, Uncle Sam kicked my ass. So I found out about that loophole. I packed up my shit and I left. It wasn't until I was boots on the ground that I kind of found out about um, the women and the dating culture and all of that good stuff. But as opposed to my experiences in the States before leaving, if you saw a 6'7" man in his early 30s, no kids, no baggage, no ex wife that he's paying alimony to, none of that, right? In shape, great career, six-figure earner, that guy you would assume would be cream of the crop. But I felt like every woman that I was dating was trying to make me prove myself to them as if my resume didn't speak for me. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't got shit, and they ain't got shit.
Exactly. Like, yo, I'm making six figures and you a fucking school, you a school teacher. And it's not to knock teachers. We need them. I love teachers, right? But I'm just saying, like, in terms of in terms of like the salary difference, like, shorty, you need to be proving yourself to me. You got it all fucked up. So I feel like when you're dating in Brazil, you know what I'm saying? The women are going to show you, like, yo, I want you, I'm here for you, I'm going to compete for you. And you don't feel like, oh, damn, it's this is how it's always supposed to be versus like what we see in the States, which is in reverse, where you as the man, no matter how high value you are, feel like you're always behind the eight ball having to prove yourself to a woman. And so I think a lot of the public display of affection kind of helps reinforce, you know what I'm saying? The idea that like, nah, like I'm not in America. This woman really digs me and this ain't a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I would agree.